welcome to chapter 32 of my RX323 resto videos. In this chapter, we're back in lockdown, so not much fun, but good time to be in the garage, good time to be at home with the kids. They're doing homeschooling, and also got to do some stuff around the house so I can get some time in the garage. Anyhow, in this chapter, bit of a stuff up. Actually, it's a big stuff up, you'll see. Also, I get a new radio for the car and get that all fitted up. So, I hope you enjoy it. Alright, I finished tacking up all the manifold now, so this is the manifold now complete. So I've got number 1 rotor and there, and number 2 rotor there. So I'm just got you can see all the little tacks I've got there. I just wanted to make sure, I've had to actually cut a couple off and redo them again just to position them right so these pipes go out the right spot. So you can see it all there. So now it's time just to weld everything up and grind back all my shitty tacky welds. So just doing those little tacks around the manifold and that, I noticed one thing the next day, my hands, they got sunburn or flash burns and that, so just make sure, I have gloves, I don't know why I didn't use them, I should have used them, so just when you're doing it, just be cautious, make sure you're covered up from head to toe, have a good welding mask and all that sort of stuff before you start welding, and don't burn your hands. So I'm just trial fitting as I go, just making sure everything still has clearance. So I've just popped the manifold back on and put the exhaust on just with the tacks on there just to see if it's still got clearance, and so far so good. So the manifold's all welded up now, so that's how it looks with it on the car. There is some clearance between the steering box and the gearbox. So here's the manifold on the car, so there's the front pipe and the rear pipe, but I've come across an issue. Turn the steering like that and the bottom pipe is completely covered. To say that I'm shattered is an understatement. I can't believe I've gone to all that effort. I thought I checked and checked and checked and checked clearances everywhere. I suppose I spent too much time focusing on getting the clearances between the engine and the steering box rather than looking where that steering arm goes. I turn the steering all the other way, and because the arm comes down, but then it also, when you turn all the way the other way, it comes back up and it blocks that front rotor pipe. So I looked at other options, maybe even getting rid of the steering box, putting a front steering rack in the car, but that's a lot of effort to go to. And just for the cost of all that steel, it's really not that much, maybe $200-300. So I thought I'll go back to scratch. I got a new plate, ordered a new plate. I've got some pipes and I've started welding. I'll show you what I've done. So I'm back to square one. I didn't want to bore you with all the welding and all that sort of stuff. But one important thing I did realise after doing the last manifold was just making sure I had the right order in which I welded these parts on. So you can see I've done a lot of tacking and here, and then just checking and making sure, and double checking and make sure it fits on the car, move the steering, making sure the clearances are right between the engine and the steering box, and making sure it doesn't foul anything else. So this is basically what I've got to. I've gone and cut out this hole with a hole saw, and then just use a little die grinder just to open it up a bit more, just make sure it fits perfectly. Then I welded it on the inside through here, and then I welded on this little plate on here, and then I tacked it to here, checked it, and then put these pipes on there and tack. And then I started welding. I weld one side, then another side, and then go swap. I also heat these up as well as I'm going. And then my bloody welder stopped working. It's only, 2 years old, 3 years old. It's a SIG welder. The wire feeder has shit itself. So I'm going to have to put a bit of a hole on my exhaust now, which I was so excited for, making the exhaust. It's been quite a labour of love doing the exhaust. I've really enjoyed doing it, nutting it all out. Yeah, I've made some mistakes, as you've seen, but if you're not trying, you're not making mistakes, well, you're not learning. So I'll go on to something else now, just for the time being. I've got no doubt if you're like me, you're sitting at home at the moment because we're all in lockdown. We can't do anything or go anywhere, can't be at work. But the good thing is the post is still going. So I've ordered a few more bits. I'll show you what this is. It's a wideband O2 sensor kit. So I've got the oxygen sensor, which is in here, like that. And that'll go with, that's the bung that will go into, I'll drill a hole in that and that'll weld into there. And then I'm just screwing to there like that. So the kit consists of the oxygen sensor. I'll just put this back carefully. The wiring to the sensor, and also the gauge, which will just go up on the dash. So yeah, once I get all my exhaust and that ready to go, I'll weld that in and start fitting this one as well. Package number 2 just arrived in the mail. What it is, it's an old school radio. So I've removed the old radio out of the car. It's got the old push button things that you might remember from the old days, and this one goes in its place. I'll show you how we do it. Okay, so what I've done, this is the fascia that was in the car. You might remember it had the wood paneling on the sides there. So what I did, I got the heat gun out and a scraper and just removed off all the wood grain because it was cracked and it looked shitty. So this is the fascia of the radio, so that will go in that hole. I might just have to make it just a smidgen bigger, but it's a modern digital radio that's made to look old school, so I better put it together and put it in the car. The good thing about this radio, it's completely modular, so you have the actual unit there, that's the fascia, but in the back of it, it's got all the digital side of things, so that will slide into the radio like that and be like that, and then that'll go in behind the fascia there. But also it has these brackets which go on to the side of the radio like that. There's 2 of them either side, obviously, like that, and then it has the rotary knobs there, but they're adjustable. They can go in and out like that, so if your hole spacing is a bit different for the original radio, you can adjust it, so then it'll go in there like that, and then it'll just like you have your normal old school radio, but then you have all the modern functions of a new type radio. So I've just screwed the fascia to the actual body, which is just 2 screws there, 2 screws there, and I've also now just attached the bracket which holds the 2 knobs to the radio. It's just 4 screws. I just left it loose just so I can make any adjustments on the fascia, because it's got depth in and out adjustment as well as up and down as well. So there's the dials mounted up. So you can see that I've just left them loose for the time being, and they're adjustable in and out, up and down, and it just, look at that, it just plugs into the housing like that. Nice and easy. Alright, so I've just put the radio in the mounting hole just there like that. I just used this little jigger. Love that tool. Just to make the hole just a little bit bigger, just so I can fit the fascia in there. And I'm not sure whether you can see just in through here, the way I've mounted it. It's hard mounted up to this bracket, and it's also hard mounted up to the fascia. There's nuts and bolts in there, so that are all secure. And just put a little nut and bracket there to secure it as well, so that it all looks nice. Now all I need now is the knobs, and they just slide on there, one there, one there, And oh, how good is that? It's beautiful. So wiring up the radio, it doesn't get much easier than this. So it's pretty straightforward. You've got this plug here, which that plug there goes in the back of the radio, just in here, like that. And then you got 2 plugs. So one for all the speakers, which just clicks in there, and the other one for all your powers, earths, electric aerial, all that sort of stuff, which just plugs in like that. Man, it doesn't get any easier than that. So this is the rear speaker in the rear door. It's been cut into the door card, but as you can see, the wire for it just comes out of the door card and then down to there. So I'm just going to fix that up. So this is the radio now, so it's all the powers and earths and all this stuff all hooked up, and that works. So I'm just running new speaker wires now. So this little blue wire here, I fed that down through the dash, and I've ran new wire for the speakers. So you can see that I've just pulled it up through the dash there. And then the wire runs down through the side here, and then into the B pillar. And though I don't like hacking up the car, I've drilled one hole in the bottom of the door there, and one in the bottom of the B pillar there, and I've got some grommets. So these are the grommets, the 25mm grommets, and the hole's 25mm as well. It's quite big, and I've just drilled a small hole there, so I'll feed this wire. So this is the speaker wire. It's actually marine grade wire, so yeah, in through the back door. So there we have it. There's the rear speaker wire. It is marine grade, as I said before, so that should be okay. There should be you can get like a little rubber gaiters that go around here, but that should be okay. And you can see I've removed the door card off here, and there's the speaker wire just hanging out there. So that's one door down. Now I've just got to do the other 3 speakers, and then the radio should be all right to go. Alright, so there it is, all back in now. Put the fascia and everything back in, so, and the radio, so it's got all the beautiful knobs and that. So I'll just turn the key on and see if it works. I hope it does. Yep, comes to life, and we have sound. Well, that's it for chapter 32. I hope you enjoyed it. You can see the radio, I love it, it's great. Hopefully I'll get my MIG back real soon, and then I can get stuck back into the exhaust, and that'll be in the next episode, I hope. Stay safe, and I'll see you in chapter 33. Bye for now.